Audiobook nerds, today we're going to do my classics TBR. So these are all the books that I define as classics per my video that I did before. If you want to know how I define classics, go check that video out. So these books are all between 100 and 1,000 years old. And there's quite a few of them, so I'm not going to talk a whole lot about each book because we have a lot to get through and I don't want this video to be forever long. So I'm just going to go in publication order, sort of. Some of them overlap a little bit, but that's fine. Up first we have The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, or Alighieri. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I've heard it both ways. Everyone loves Dante's Inferno, but I would really like to read the entire thing, which includes the Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. And this book was written in 1320. Then we have Thomas More's Utopia. This was written in 1516. I, as a Catholic, am very interested in Thomas More. I also just love the era that this is from. This is Henry VIII's time. Thomas More was friends with Henry VIII. This book influenced Henry VIII until some other books became more of an influence on Henry VIII. So I'm very interested in this. Paradise Lost by John Milton, which was written in 1667. Basically, all I know about this is that I believe that it's about the devil's fall from heaven, which is interesting. And this is an epic poem, so very interested in this. The Journals of Lewis and Clark. This was written on their expedition, which was from 1804 to 1806. I've had this since I was a kid, and I don't know when I'm going to read it. I don't want to get rid of it though, because I am interested in history and I think it would be interesting to read. I just know I need to be in the right mood for it. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, which was written in 1811. I love me some Jane Austen. I have read 3 of her books. I don't know which one I will read next, but I will definitely read this at some point. Then we have Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, which was written in 1814. Again, I love Jane Austen, so definitely will be reading this at some point. Then we have Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. Northanger Abbey was written in 1818. These are all the Jane Austen novels I have on my physical TBR at the moment. I do want to get Lady Susan at some point to add to my TBR. I have already read Pride and Prejudice, Persuasion, and Emma. Then we have The Essential Tales and Poems by Edgar Allan Poe. Since this is a collection, I don't really have a definitive date for this one. From what I could find online, these would have been written between 1827 and 1849. Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. This was originally serialized between 1837 and 1839 and then published as one edition in 1867. I haven't actually read Charles Dickens, just a few excerpts here and there, and so I'm definitely interested in giving him a try. Then we have The Arabian Nights. This was first published in 4 volumes from 1839 to 1842. This is definitely one that I would love to get to this year. I have wanted to read this for so long. Back to Charles Dickens, we have A Christmas Carol. This was written in 1843. I just think this is a classic Christmas story and I should read it. I love the movie adaptations I've seen. I've seen it in play form and I love it. I need to read the actual book. Then we have The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. This was first published in 1844 to 1845. Getting into the Bronte sisters, we have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This was written in 1847. I want to read all of the Bronte sister books because I have a family legend that says we're related to them. Is that true? I have no idea, but I would love to read all of their books. And then we have Anne Bronte with The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. This was written in 1848. Back to Charles Dickens, we have David Copperfield, which was written in 1850. I heard about this book when I was young and I just have wanted to read it ever since. I have no idea why. It's always been on my mind, so I want to read this one. Villette by Charlotte Bronte, which was written in 1853. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, which was written in 1859. Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, which was written in 1862. And then we have Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. This was serialized between 1864 and 1866, and then it was published in volume form in 1866. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. This was originally published between 1865 and 1869. Then we have The Ring and the Book by Robert Browning. This was written from 1868 to 1869. My edition is very old, but it's not a first edition, but my edition was published in 1899. Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. This was published in 1874. Anna Karenina or Anna Karenina, I've heard it pronounced both ways, not really sure which way is the correct way. This is by Leo Tolstoy, and this was written in 1877. Posthumous Memoirs of Bras Cubas by Machado de Assis, and it was written in 1881. Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. This was serialized between 1881 and 1882 and published in volume form in 1883. The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. This was written in 1886. Tess of the D'Urbervilles, again by Thomas Hardy. This was written in 1891. The Jungle Books by Rudyard Kipling. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. This was written in 1894. Then we have Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was written in 1897. So there you have it. Those are all of the classics on my physical TBR at the current moment. I love my classics, you guys know that. And so I am so excited to read all of these. Let me know which ones you think I will like best. Let me know what ones are your guys' favorites. Let me know where you think I should start with certain authors. I am open to any and all suggestions. That's all for this video. I hope you guys are having an awesome week. I'll see you guys next Monday. Hit like and subscribe if you're not. Thanks for talking books with me.